Let's get to it. Kyrie Irving, shocking news today around 2 o'clock Eastern. Requests a trade from the Nets. It is obviously in response to him not being happy with the way that negotiations are going for his long-term contract extension. This is the last year of his deal. He wants a fully guaranteed 4-year, $200 million contract. And the Nets offered him a multi-year deal, but all types of stipulations in it. I'm sure, Rob, number of games played, off the court,
winning a championship,
behavior, shenanigans,
tweeted, right?
Championship, all types of stuff. So he didn't like that, so now he's requesting the trade. Rob, let's get your opinion, and then I'll share off you.
Yeah, I just think this is if you're going to do it and you're not happy with that, Kyrie wants a contract now. I don't think he really wants to go into free agency, Chris, because I think that the amount of owners who would probably vie for his services are slim. So, you don't have a lot of people who will be offering for your services, and that hurts you as you try to get a 4-year fully guaranteed contract. A max deal. It wouldn't be max, Chris, because once he becomes free, it would
be max for you can't get as much as your own team
as you would if you.
But it still could be a max. Be about 180 million, something like that.
Yeah, but so I mean that's part of what's happening here. And he made the All-Star team. He's been playing great, and he's been through so much. And of course, when the news broke today, it's here we go. Here's Kyrie again, and part of that's unfair because this is a contract maneuver, Chris, is what it is.
I don't think it's unfair, though.
No?
Because this is...
But you know what I'm saying. If this was somebody else...
Yeah, but I mean, that's how it works. I mean, you create your own track record. You remember when Meta World Peace, Ron Artest was in the league?
Yeah.
At a certain point after so many incidents, it was like... He gonna get, they're gonna come down harder on him than your average
every time.
player.
Yeah, I guess you're right. And I guess my point is, because of all that other stuff, nobody wants to hear the details. It's just like, here's Kyrie blowing up the Nets, causing trouble, and this is why you shouldn't get him. So go ahead. That's
Rob, I don't think there's an owner in the league that will offer him a fully guaranteed multi-year max contract. I'm sorry if you do, and I love Kyrie. I love his game. I try to give him the benefit of the doubt on a lot of his social issues because I understand a young black man searching for his identity, really studying deep black history for the first time in his life. I get all that. And he's coming of age in that regard in the fishbowl of the NBA. So I try to give him the benefit of the doubt. But his lack of self-awareness sometimes is baffling. And I think this is a lack of self-awareness. Now, look, it possibly could work out for him if he somehow gets to the Los Angeles Lakers, and we'll get into them later. But if he somehow is able to get traded to the Lakers and play with LeBron and Anthony Davis, if healthy, they should win the West, if not the whole thing. And maybe that would obviously work out for him. But Rob, I think the best thing Kyrie could have done for his future financial situation, right, because he wants the big contract, is be the good soldier. Don't make any waves off the court, and this is a wave. This is a tidal wave. And play great ball, which he's been doing, and help the Nets get deep into the playoffs. You and I picked them to get to the finals. Even if they didn't do that, go out in a tough 6 or 7 games in the Eastern Conference Finals, whatever it is. That would have got you, still probably not a fully guaranteed max, but you would have had more interest from other teams. And more importantly, Rob, the Nets would have certainly been willing to give you probably the best offer of any team out there. I still don't think it'd be fully guaranteed for 4 years, but they would have probably given you a really great deal that you could live with. And here you go, couldn't even go 80 days. It was 76 days from when he was reinstated after the documentary and all that stuff.
Right.
And he couldn't even last more than 80 days, 3 months.
Less than 3 months, right?
Yeah, right. And my thing is, And Kyrie, is he really saying, I can't believe they won't give me the full max?
Right.
I mean, that's what I mean by lack of self-awareness. Rob, you and I talk about it all the time. None of us is in a vacuum.
Exactly.
Donald Trump, when he was president, Joe Biden now, Barack Obama when he was president, they had to play by certain rules.
That's life, Chris. And people who don't understand that, you don't have to like it all the time. You don't have to, but there's things that you fight for, Chris, and other things you have to know how to play the game and realize inside a structure. We talk about all the time. There are way better, Chris, basketball players on these playgrounds who never could make it to college or because they couldn't assimilate into what you need to do in order that they could play ball, but they couldn't go to class to do what you need to do to get into college. They wouldn't study. They wouldn't do that. They couldn't go to the NBA.
Couldn't listen to a coach,
exactly.
Play a team game.
There you go. All those things, despite the talent you have, stopped a lot of people. And you have to be able to deal with certain things. Everything's not the end of the world. Everything is not worth fighting over. If we do that, we'd be here all day. You can't fight over everything. You can't.
Yeah. And we talk, and a lot of times it is true, obstacles for an African American or Hispanic and things like that, right? But Rob, like we said, to a certain degree, regardless of your race, whites included, you still have to conform in many ways within that society. Like we said, Donald Trump has been called to the carpet. So it's not just a black thing in this situation. And so you got to look at the situation earlier in the season. You got to look at, being injured a lot of the time. You have to look at
time off.
Taking time off just because, like the anti-vaccination situation. I mean, Kyrie, really? Rob, if I didn't show up for work half of the time, how can I look at our executives when it's time to renegotiate a contract and be like, what do you mean you won't give me this?
Right. We can't count on you, Chris. We can't count on you. We can't give you that.
Yeah, it's just sad because we both like Kyrie and
big time.
It's just bizarre,
and he was playing great, and we were talking about how you remember they were rolling before KD, Chris,
and they would be rolling when he gets back.
Right, they had the second best record, and this year when KD went down, Chris, they didn't go 0-11. They were like almost 500. You know what I mean? Like he held it together.
I mean, they've been struggling a little lately, but look, the bottom line is when KD's back, Rob, they're one of the top teams in the league. I get them struggling without him. He's a great player. He's just your number one player. Right. But when he would be back with Kyrie as the second guy, they would be in the mix. And Kyrie is essentially throwing all of that away. And again, Rob, if we would get it if it was just, there were no real incidents off the court, and he's still playing this great, and he's like, what do you mean? You're not giving me a max. I would get that. But there are reasons, Kyrie, and none of them have to do with your actual ability on the basketball court for why they won't give you this deal.
And you can't blame the Nets. And you know what? The Nets, I give them credit. They didn't bend to Kevin Durant. They were not going to give him away, Chris. They said, we're not doing it. We can't get equal value for you. We're not doing it. And in this case, too, I know a lot of people think the Nets are just going to give him away to somebody. I would not give Kyrie away, Chris. I'm not giving him away.
I'm negotiating from a position of strength.
Yes.
Because you know what? If I'm the
contract.
Nets, and if I'm the Nets and I lose you or you sit out the rest of the season, you know what? So be it. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, we're not favored to win the championship with you. We got a shot. But if you sit out, okay. I mean, you've been a headache. Let's just keep it real. And so I'm not worried about losing you for nothing. Because you're not going to get the Rob. If he goes into free agency, he's going to be in for a rude awakening. Right. I mean, the Lakers might be so desperate that they'll give him, and I think he'd be great with the Lakers this season. But if I'm the Lakers, I'm not so sure how much I want to sign him up, for multiple years.
And don't forget, he already, if you're LeBron, remember, he already walked away from you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could say whatever you want. Oh, they're lovey-dovey now. Don't kid yourself. That did happen.
And Rob, we said it when Kyrie, after they lost to the Celtics, and he was talking like he was a part of the front office. We said, man, you can't give him these multi, new contract extension, max level for multiple years. And they didn't. They stood their ground. This time,
and
they're
remember, he
standing their
opted
ground.
in, Chris.
That's smart.
Remember, they didn't give him a deal, and he opted in. He could have left. He could, when they were saying, "Oh yeah," he could have left, and he came back on his last year of his deal. And the other thing is, and I know a lot of Laker fans are, "Oh, take Westbrook, take Westbrook. He has an expiring contract." Well, Laker fans, is this on? I got news for you. Kyrie's contract's expiring too.
Right, exactly,
Like, Chris,
exactly.
can you help?
Yep, you're exactly right. So we'll get into Westbrook and the Lakers later
on.
But this is just it's an interesting situation. All right.